Hey guys, it's Brandy Voth with the Power Project, and today I had a subject that I wanted to educate you guys. It is always my intention to spread awareness and educate you on issues that you may or may not have accurate facts or stories about. And as you know, I feel like we learn best and are inspired the most and are made aware of things by other people and their experiences. And that is why it's always been my sole mission to share others' experiences with you, people that have gone ahead of you. So I had the opportunity to interview a lady from Italy today. She is in the midst of the outbreak area, and she is lucky enough to be in the country and have a place that she can retreat to in the midst of a 14-day quarantine that she's currently experiencing. And I am not doing any of this to incite fear or panic or mass hysteria. I bring this subject to you simply for the mission, the sole purpose to raise your awareness level and to let you see what it is that we are actually dealing with this pandemic. And there is no need to be alarmed by this as far as running out and doing last minute precautions or anything like that. It's really more to let you know why our government is doing what they're doing, why they're putting the regulations in place, and schools are closing and events are closing. But there is so much more that we need to know that we can do as responsible citizens, as responsible members of society, as responsible family members. There's safeguards that we can take, that we can listen to our recommendations and our suggestions that are being implemented from the government, from the CDC, from the World Health Organization, and we can follow protocols in order to attempt to lessen the impact, lessen the spread, lower the curve, flatten the curve of the spread of this pandemic. So a couple of facts that I just want you guys to know, and then we're going to hop in. The US has currently over 5,000 confirmed cases. That is an increase of 1,060 confirmed cases in the last 24 hours. However, when we talk about those numbers, we also need to pay attention to the fact that we just really started testing on a large scale here in the US, and there's been a shortage of testing kits. So in the next few days, you're probably going to see a large increase in reported numbers. That's not to minimalize it. And then the affected populations, yes, Italy has an older population than the US, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't change anything about the way that we are spreading this virus and precautions that we can take to stop it. So this is a little bit of my conversation with Becs and her experience. I'm here live with Becs. She is in Italy. I'm not even attempting to say your last name because I will butcher it with my Texan accent. But long story short, we are connected via a friend on Facebook, and Becs has been documenting what is happening on the ground in Italy with the COVID-19 spread. She has been generous enough to share with us and let us know some precautions that we can take throughout this spread. So thank you for hopping on with us. We appreciate it so much.
You're welcome.
Where in Italy are you at?
I am in a town called Montespertoli, which is about maybe 20 minutes outside of Florence.
Okay. And can you just kind of share with us a little bit of what you were telling me? Because basically the US has surpassed 4,000 cases as of today.
Yes.
And
yes.
You were sharing with me that 8 days ago, Italy was in the same numbers.
We were at 4,336 last Saturday.
Yeah. And so explain to me, because you guys are on quarantine, you're on lockdown, you're 8 days ahead of us as far as numbers go. How long have you been in quarantine so far?
Since the 3rd of March.
Since March 3rd.
Yes, but not in lockdown. I have been actually there was it was periodical. It was gradual. It was not right away. First they closed on the 3rd of March, they closed the schools.
Okay. And can you explain to, because there are some people here that aren't quite understanding exactly why we're closing the schools and why we're taking what seems to be drastic measure right now. Can you just kind of share what this has looked like on your end and some of the other parts of it that you and I have been discussing about the school and the kids and the spread?
Okay. When they first initially closed the schools, they didn't explain to anybody as to why they were doing it. They just simply closed schools and universities. Days later, it, they explained on the news and on TV as to why this has happened. It's happened because children are carriers, but can be without any type of symptoms, never get sick, yet still be contagious.
And the period that you were sharing with me is that you can be contagious for up to 19 days without even
Yes,
showing symptoms.
having a symptom. Correct. Yes.
Okay. And then when Italy decided to close, when Italy decided to go on mandatory lockdown,
They did a okay. Italy did a mandatory lockdown for the north on the 5th of March.
and what did people do at that time?
They decided to escape the zones that were red, the red zones, the hot zones, the dangerous zones. They decided that, well, if we have family members in the south or in Tuscany or anywhere that it's not in this zone, let's just get on a train right now before midnight and go and stay with them because we have no symptoms. And it was absolutely mayhem. It was crazy.
And what did that end up resulting in?
Well, there were no increase in numbers for about maybe 4 days. About the 5th day after this lockdown and the escape of people from their lockdown locations happened, there was all of a sudden an increase in new cases between 2,000 and 3,000 daily on a 24-hour period.
Yeah, within 5 days.
We have 31,506. Yeah, from 27,000 to 31
Like an
in
increase
24 hours.
4,000 in 24 hours.
So, I mean, this is just, I just don't want to leave my house. I want to stay here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand.
Yep.
100%. Like
In 24 hours, we got 3,500. Yeah, 3,526 new cases. In 24 hours, the U.S. has gotten 1,060. Yeah? And my husband's like, you're obsessed. I'm like, it's not that I'm obsessed. This is life changing.
yeah.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do after this is over?
And
But
right now everyone here is feeling the economic impact. We have several businesses that are drastically affected by the economy, and I mean, that was the worry last week, and that was the concern last week, was how do we come out of this. This week it's literally like we can't even worry about that. We worry about our
no,
health,
you can't.
and
You can't.
finances will come back eventually. We worry about
It will.
health and family right now.
There will be ways to actually go ahead and reinvent ourselves, but it is a period of reinvention. And it is a time for people that actually can be, I don't know, clever and utilize their online savviness and find ways, because this is what's going to be, this is the future. This is it. Life will never be what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then it's not a negative thing. It's a force upon change. That's it. It's not you just got to be clever. There are ways, and it's going to pass, but it's going to be a new tomorrow, completely, 100%. We have a very old population. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the oldest population in all of Europe,
Mm-hmm.
where people live the longest. So there is a lot of people that are of the age of 60 and over. So there we have a vulnerable population, which that doesn't mean that they are worth any less than if you were to be 45 years old. That doesn't mean that because if you're 60 that you're going to get sick, and if you're 40 you're not. But you get ill if you are of a certain age or have some sort of compromised health issues. That and if once you get sick, it's horrible. But the only way to stabilize you is by intubating you, because your lungs no longer work. And this is a fact. This is not. This is real life.
And so the obviously the at-risk population, respiratory issues, the older adults,
Yeah. Yes.
compromised immune systems, those are the ones that we're trying to keep the spread from because of the
Diabetics, people with heart conditions, as well with people with high blood pressure,
Mhm.
are more, for some reason, they're more prone. They don't know why. Also, people that diabetics, diabetics, high blood pressure, obesity, and respiratory issues, and of age. Of course, if you're like 70 years and older, you're definitely, if you get it, you can just forget about it.
And so you and I discussed we're not coming at this. You're not trying to panic people. We're not coming at this from
No,
a place of fear. We're trying to educate people. That's been your platform all along, is to
right.
spread awareness. So what would you tell us, like here in America right now? What would you want us to know today?
My advice. I know it sounds weird and kind of like buy gloves. Not only if you're sick, but you have to keep social distancing. There has to be a space between you and your other person, that it's not within your family circle. If
And
you are out shopping, keep a distance. You have a shopping cart, you know what? Make a shopping cart, and let's say maybe 2 feet in between you and the other person. Don't buy toilet paper. You don't get stomach flu. There's no stomach flu. You'll be fine. You can always take a shower. Buy food, because it's not so much that you're going to run out of food. All the supermarkets here are completely full. It's like normal. It's a normal shopping day. The grocery stores are full. We lack nothing. But this is the issue. The issue is that once you go into quarantine, which means a temporary lockdown, 2 weeks or more, which you have to stay home, and if you have to leave, there has to be one person of the home all the time. Not more than one person needs to be out. One person goes and does the groceries and comes back home. You will have long lines and long waits. And for example, I went shopping yesterday because I had to. It was the first time I went in about 11 days, because I did my shopping days before, even when everybody was laughing at me here. I told my husband, I'm like, you know what? He was somewhere else he was working. And I said, can you please go to the supermarket and buy some groceries there, mainly meats, if you're a meat eater, or vegetables, or anything that's frozen that you can freeze and put away. Put it away so that you don't have to go to the store. Yesterday, I went to the store for the first time. It took me 2 hours to get inside the supermarket, because they only allow a certain amount of people at a time to avoid social contact. So the best thing that you can do is purchase things that you can consume, gloves and masks.
stay home as much as possible.
Stay home all the time until it passes.
How long do you guys foresee this stretching out the lockdown in Italy? What are they telling you?
I don't know. I
No.
re- I really don't know. They said until that schools are for sure closed until the 3rd of April.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that we're going, and with the number, we haven't reached our peak yet. They're estimating another 2 weeks before we reach our maximum, and then the numbers are supposed to go down for us. It's the first time in the entire history of this country that it's ever been on lockdown from everybody else. It's never ever happened in history. It's crazy.
How are you keeping your mind as centered and positive as you possibly can in this time?
Oh my God, that's really hard. Um, I I don't know. I don't know. I think about that. It's gonna pass. It will pass. But life is all about changes. You can't be afraid of changes, and life will not be the same after this. So we'll adapt.
Thank
It'll
you.
be yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you for coming on. And I want you to know that I'm praying for you and your family and
Thank
your
you.
country and everyone affected by this. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your experience with us. And Praying for your son in Orlando, and
I know. I just spoke to him. He's good. He's all right.
yeah,
He's not getting it yet either, but he's only 24, so it's
I
okay.
know. Well, I hope that you love your family, hug them tight, and stay safe,
Thank you.
stay well, and as peaceful as possible.
I'm here if you need me.
Thank you.
I got a lot of time. I got a lot of time in my hands.
Yes, it's a great time to make a new friend. So thanks.
Exactly. Yes.
Hey friends, I hope that you found this episode to be educational and provide you with tangible steps that you can take to safeguard your family's health and protect the vulnerable population that is around you. If you did take something away from this episode, would you do us a favor in return and go subscribe to us on iTunes or Spotify? Give us a review, give us a rating, and then also subscribe to us on the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. We promise to fill your ears and your eyes and your heart with as much purposeful power as we possibly can in the next few weeks. If you find yourself feeling a little certain and a little unsteady, I want you to meditate on the verse 2 Timothy 1:7 that says, God did not create us with a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and self-control. And that is what the purpose of this podcast is. I can't wait to chat with you next week, but until then, be safe, be healthy, and be purposeful.